You know, when I was doing the help in Greenwood, Mississippi, which is the birthplace of the KKK and the home of the Tallahatchie River, where Emmett Till was murdered in 1956. There was a town in Mississippi that's the oldest black community called Baptist Town. And the people in Baptist Town literally still live in sharecropper homes that are about 350 square feet. Average of 8-9 people live in those homes. They haven't had a single high school graduate in 5 years. 5 years in that town. Time has truly stood still. But I remember all the stories I heard from the people when I was down there of the history of racism and violence, the history of people being murdered, people that are nameless, faceless. I mean, there are some stories. But I realize that that's the one thing that we don't share is our stories and our history. We never ask people. I never really asked my mom until maybe the last year or so. I sat her down, I gave her a drink, and I asked her, "What's your story?" And the beauty of that movie, in my opinion, is the moment that Skeeter sits down at the table and she looks at Aibileen and she says, "Did you ever dream of being anything else?" And Aibileen is silent because, like she says in the movie, nobody asked me what it felt like to be me. And through all of my successes, and I've had a lot, I've probably had just a few people who ever really looked at me and asked me what it felt like to be me. And what that does when you sit down with people and allow them to share their dreams and their failures and their pain is the freedom of being who you are. It's the freedom of releasing your full potential. It's a feeling of not feeling like you're living in shame. It's a feeling of not being embarrassed. And that's the beauty that came out of that. And I feel like my entire life from now on has been the big revelation of walking into a room full of producers, mostly Caucasian, mostly men, slapping down a piece of paper and saying, "Listen, I need for you to understand me. I need for you to see me and understand that all these women of color, they can't progress in their career unless they have the material to be able to allow them to shine." That's having a big voice. And every time I'm terrified to walk into a room and speak up, I have to remind myself that once again, the privilege of a lifetime is being who you are. And if I can walk into a room one day and open my mouth and be the advocate for other women of color and just hit a 5, I think that that's pretty damn good.